officially the #1 club placing kids in college soccer in the country. This last season, we placed 28 kids in collegiate soccer, and we placed about 7 kids in professional environments. Some went in the youth at 14, 15, 16, some at 18, some at 20. And that's important because I'm going to tell you why. Not because we're special as a club, but because this community is special. While I was looking at Phil, I was thinking most of these kids are above the 3.5. Most of these kids are above the 3, or most of these kids will not have any issues qualifying. Okay? This is a special community where the parents and the families, the privileged place, where most of the members we work with do have the academic standards to go to a good school, or to go to a school and start. Now, these are some of the things I wrote. There's a good place for every one of you. You should write that down. Meaning that, and more than one, because this is also a privileged country. And I think a lot of us here come from different countries, and we know that the opportunities in this country are exceptional. So there's probably not one, so there's probably a dozen or more good places for you, good fits for you academically, athletically, and financially. Question, how do you figure out these options? We heard it. How do you figure out these options? I always see it like buying a car, or better yet, it's like buying a house. You have to cover all the angles when you are starting the selection process. Okay? There's 4 elements that you have to focus on. The most important is academics. According to your standards, where do you fit? The second one, also very important, is financial. How much are you willing to invest given your situation? You receive financial aid. What's your financial situation? Okay? Number 3 is athletically. I always use, for you guys as a point of reference, you need to be able to be an important player as a freshman in any school you want to play for, if you want to play college soccer. Okay? You don't want to go to a place where maybe I'll make that roster, because if that's the case, and it's a high, it's a hard, difficult school to get into, it's already difficult. The coach may not help you, they may not give you money, you may go, don't go to a place where you're not wanted or where you may not be important. The other thing is the other elements. You should consider them. The city, the weather, how close or far you want to be from your family. Sometimes you don't think about this. You start pursuing options and all of a sudden you're stuck 3,000 miles away from your family in cold weather and you don't like it. Or maybe you're stuck at home going to college and you see your friend in California and maybe that's where you wanted to be, or North Carolina, or UF. I don't know. You need to figure out the other factors: weather, city, school size, okay? Academics, finances, athletics, and the other factors. And once you get all that, it's like buying a house. Where do we want to live? We want to live in Weston. We have enough money for a down payment? Yes. Do we qualify right now? Yeah. How's our credit? Oh, we're good. Why do we want to live in Weston? Because our kids are going to go to good schools. Because it's a good place. Because it's close to my job. Because it's in South Florida. Because I hate the cold. It's a similar thing as buying a house. Cover all the angles. What are all the angles? I just told you. Those are the 4 angles you need to worry about. Okay? Now, let me tell you something. Some student athletes that we worked with last year that were extremely talented, or that had the luxury or the privilege or the advantage of playing in the academy, did not end up going to better places than some of the kids that did more work. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? Oh, you went to it, you play for the academy, or you play in a good team, and you're doing well. Ladies, you're in Castle, and a coach sees you, and he likes you, so you don't do anything else because you like the school. Or 2 coaches like you, maybe 3, and they contact you, and you say, what am I going to worry about it? You know, my friends are worrying about this selection process and picking the right schools and contacting coaches. I already got 3. And then later on you realize one of them, the coach kind of got cold, and maybe he realized he didn't need you that much. Another one, you don't get accepted academically. And then the other one, well, you realize that there could be better options. We have, for instance, some kids here from the Premier side, and Brandon was an important role, was an important factor in their selection process, and They did the work. They went out. They worked. They did the research. They contacted schools. I'm going to give you homework now. And they did this work, and at the end of the day, they got these better opportunities. Some of them went to big schools for free. Some of them found scholarships that were not necessarily coming from the school. Some of them made such a selection that they ended up having more options, and they weren't so stressed about not having an option. What about the few options fading away? So the amount of work you're going to put into it, into the selection process, into finding a school, may be more important than your ability and your academic standing, or maybe as important. Does that make sense? Am I explaining myself? I'll give you an example. Premier goalkeeper, Hector Fernandez. Schools, he makes a selection, and I want to tell you about what I'm talking about in a little bit. He makes a selection, brings the list, no, 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 yes, 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 bring me another 12. Next day, here's my list. No, 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 yes, 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 bring me another 5. Here it is, okay, 25. You need to do this, 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 this. He did it. Video. Contact the coaches, call the coaches, pick up the phone. He did everything we told him. December, he had an offer, and he committed. Makes a selection, brings the list, no, 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 yes, 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 bring me another 12. Next day, here's my list. No, 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 yes, 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 bring me another 5. Here it is, okay, 25. You need to do this, 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 this. He did it. Video. Contact the coaches, call the coaches, pick up the phone. He did everything we told him. December, he had an offer, and he committed to UNC with Division I school in North Carolina, and he had everything he wanted academically, away from home, not too far, cooler weather, not too cold, everything he wanted. In those categories that we just discussed, academics, athletics, finances, and the other factors, he had everything he wanted, and he had other options. Stephen Gillis was here right now.
You have to go for a Jewish thing.
Okay. Stephen's brother was Joseph, starting goalkeeper academy in the U18s. Nothing in January, nothing in February, nothing. He played everywhere, and he played well. By luck, he ended up finding a good place. He had nothing. He had nothing. And he is now also in a Division I school with a coach in a program that we respect a lot, and we helped them. But Hector had more options. And Joseph was the starting goalkeeper in the academy. And he played in the showcases, and he did great and everything. That's one clear example. So you must do the work. What work are you talking about? I want to go home. Get to it. Okay. Select 25 schools. It's not that much work. Select 25 schools that you like. And I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to like. I told you you were going to like using the phone. Everybody using the phone now. I'm going to tell you something you may not be in agreement with at this stage in your life. Go to the most important people in your life right now and work with them. Your parents. Because they know you better than you know yourself. And at the end of the day, this may be more of your decision because you're young adults. And you're the ones that are going to be going to this place. But you need them with you. Okay? Select 25 schools according to those 4, whatever you want to call it, pillars, elements. Share with your DOC or the person in charge of the college recruiting process. I think on the women's side is Judah Cooks. Share with Judah. Share with Chris. Share with Marcelo Valdivia if you play for him. On the boys' side, share with me. Share with Brandon. Share with Marcelo Nevelev. Share with Nico Pretel. Whoever you share that list with your counselors. Share that list before you share that list with anyone. You build that list with your parents. Okay? And then, because it is with your parents that they're going to say, first of all, the finances. Okay, so how much can we invest? You know what? We can invest $10,000 a year, no problem. You know what? Don't worry about it. Now, we want you to go Ivy League. We've dreamt all our lives to go Ivy League. Ivy League is $50,000. Don't worry about Some people may say, you know what, I don't have a couple $1,000. We're in a really difficult situation right now. Maybe we can pay a couple $1,000. Everybody's circumstances are different. But get that number, a number you're comfortable with. Okay, a number you're comfortable with. Once you know how much you want to invest, then you start working from there. Then you start working from there. And you go and say, okay, so let's say, let's do an exercise here. Okay, let's do an exercise with Felipe. Felipe, stand up. Felipe is one of my favorite kids in the club, so I'm going to pick on him for a little. You are my favorite, you know, almost one of them. So anyways, Felipe, would you like to save money for your parents?
Yeah.
Would you like to go to school for free completely?
Yeah.
Okay, you would like to go to school. Would you like to stay in the state, or would you like to go out of state? Out of state. Do you want to go on the west coast, or you want to stay on like the Boston area or northern part of this side of the country? It doesn't matter. You like both options. Okay. Without a doubt, you want to play college soccer. Is that a priority for you, or you would evaluate that if you get into such a great school like, I don't know, some school like let's say where you would not play, like UF, because there's no team, or college soccer, what are your priorities? Okay, so now Felipe will go with his parents and sit down and say, listen, I don't want you to pay anything. Let me see if I can sort this out. Okay? Because it's 3 of us and that's what I want to do. Okay? So now Felipe's got, let's say, what's your GPA right now? 3.2? 3.2. So let's say Felipe ends up with a 3.4 in his core courses, that's unweighted. And he finishes with a 1200 SAT. Okay, so now that standard is going to get him into certain schools. He needs to find out which schools he can get into based on that. Okay, so he can go to West Point. If he goes to West Point, did you know West Point is free? So that's already 2 things. Can you play at West Point? I think so. I think he could be a good player at West Point. I would think West Point is a good fit for Felipe. One, good fit for Felipe. But let's talk about the other two. UCLA, right off the bat, I'll tell you no. Because UCLA is on the side of the country and they get some of the best players in the country. It's a meat market. They have so much talent. Felipe will not start as a freshman in UCLA. Does he have the talent to eventually play in UCLA? Yes, but I wouldn't waste my time trying to get in a place where they don't need me as a freshman. Where he may make the team as a sophomore and eventually play a lot as a junior. I wouldn't recommend that to Felipe because he's going to be in a position where the coach is not going to try to help him. He'll probably have to go as a walk-on, and they're not going to give him money. And since he's out of state, if he's got some sort of scholarship through Bright Futures, he's going to apply very little in California. So I would think UCLA is not a good option. But F.I.U. is a great option because Felipe is close to getting 50% Florida Bright Futures, right? And he can get at F.I.U. the other 20, 30, 40%. And if he really wants to make sure his parents don't pay a dime, he can work or get a loan for a couple $1,000 a year and graduate with a very low loan of $10,000. But F.I.U. is another very good option. Wake Forest, I would say, is similar to UCLA, so I would also discard it. And then Felipe needs to go back and he needs to bring me 25. And I'm going to say no, 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 yes, yes, yes. And he will go back and bring until he's got 25 schools like F.I.U. and West Point. Right? And now, you can sit down. Thank you, Felipe. That's what each one of you is. So you share the schools. Once we agree and we have those 25 schools, once you have those 25 schools and you're comfortable with them, now you contact the coach. Nothing dramatic. It's just an email. Hi, I'm Amy Wamba. And I love your school academically and athletically. It will be a dream for me and my family to be part of your program. This attached is my video, my resume, and my academic information. If by any chance you may be interested in a player like me, please give me a call. That's it. Just make sure that when you send it to the second coach, you put the right name, right? But it's something that's simple. I advise you to get a video. Attach a video. You can edit 10 minutes and you can let it run for 15. Some hard-working coaches will watch the 15 just to get an idea of who you are as a player on the field. And let them decide and evaluate. Once you send that information, keep contacting until you speak with the coach. A lot of people are embarrassed to call the coach. There's nothing, we know a lot of them. They really like it when somebody picks up the phone and calls them. Because they realize I am dealing with someone that's serious about coming to this program. Now all I have to figure out if they're good academically and they're good athletically. And if we did a good job in the selection process, you are good enough to go there. So all he has to do is see you. He opens your resume and he realizes 3.8, 1250 SAT, yeah, I can get her into school. Okay? And then he picks up the phone and he calls you. So, and he starts like that. He watches the video, I can use a player like that on the team. And that's how it starts. That's how it works. Okay? And then the other thing, attend the meetings. We are going to be having meetings to follow up on your process. Attend the meetings so that we can help you. And then make sure that if you're seniors, you apply to the schools you want to go to, maybe 4 or 5 of them, and apply for financial aid as well. Okay? There's a couple. There's a website I want to give you, collegeboard.com. No. Is it that one? You sure? Okay. Try.com or .org. I don't recall right now. .org or .com. Try both.
Collegeboard.com or .org.
I want you guys to start on it. Listen to me. In this website, if you think you can qualify for financial aid, and financial aid is a little tricky, everyone, because
collegeboard.com or .org.
I want you guys to start on it. Listen to me. In this website, if you think you can qualify for financial aid, and financial aid is a little tricky, everyone, because sometimes you may be making enough money not to qualify for financial aid, but if you owe money on your house, if you have another kid or 2 kids in college, if you have a sister or brother in college, the government may give you some aid. Okay? And if you qualify for financial aid, you should try to squeeze every cent out of financial aid. Okay? And some other people don't need financial aid, but they report their income outside of the country. So they have access to financial aid. Not that that's nice, but it is legal. All right? And this is what it for.
Yeah, the other piece with financial aid is January 1st of your senior year is the financial aid. You fill out your FAFSA form, which is a free application. And it can go to any institution. That drives some of the other pieces. But you have to make sure you do that. It's based on income and things. And your income taxes. But January 1st, your senior year in high school, is when you can start filling that out.
Thank you. We will send you a follow-up email, but we want you to write things down and start working on it. There's a place for all of you. A good place. Some of you 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now will not be home and you'll be living the most fun part of your life. Okay, but you need to make the right choices. It's going to help you be in a place without being stressed that it's too expensive or your parents are paying too much. It's going to help you go into a place that you're not going to be too cold or too hot or too close to home or too far from home. It's going to help you be in a place that suits you academically and in a team where you can be an important part of, and you know that that makes you feel better. Okay? For Phil or myself, do you have any questions? Yes?
Is it possible to get your charts, Phil?
Pardon me?
Is it possible to get the charts that you shared here today? Your presentation. If not, that's okay. I'm just asking. Okay, that's fine.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
You were talking about some meetings, follow-up meetings?
We are going to email you, and we'll have like some smaller workshops. Right now, the next step we're going to take, we're going to meet with Brandon, who runs with me the college placement on the Premier side, and myself, and we're going to meet with Judah, Marcelo, and Chris, and we're going to kind of put all these things together, send everybody an email, and then you guys are, and that email, we're gonna give you the date where we need you to have those schools to us. And they're gonna happen quick. This, you have the weekend already to start looking at. Most of you guys kind of know what you want to study, where you would like to live. Girls, stay close to home. Guys, get as far away as you can. It's that simple. I have two daughters, they are going to go to the closest school to our house. Forget all the other elements. Any other question?